The following is a presentation of The Day.
Thank you so much for joining us on Live Lunch Break. My name is Rick Koster. We are airing right at you from theday.com, or you might be one of several people inside the warm confines of the Telegraph record store where Daphne and Rich are your estimable and kind hosts. So, glad to have with us today Geoff Kaufman. And I have known Geoff pretty much since I moved up here from the South, 16 years ago. And one of the first stories I did that really meant a lot to me was you were in the band Forbidder at the time, a C music group, and I did a story on them, at which time my southern accent was revealed because they told me it isn't chanty, it's shanty. And I have I still want to say sea chanty. I don't know why it's that way in the South, but in any case, far more than just a sea music expert and archivist. Geoff is all over the folk, work music, spectrum, music's indigenous styles from all over the world, and it's our pleasure to have with us today Geoff Kaufman.
Thank you, Rick. Great to be here. What a nice setting for this. And Rich and Daphne, yeah, this is the right place to do this. Where ocean waves together roll, all along the salt sea strand, their colors roll and blend as one together in the sand. And often do the winds entwine to send their distant call, the quiet joys of brotherhood, and love is Lord of all. Where oak and we together rise, all along the common ground, the mare and stallion, light and dark, have thunder in their sound. The gentle flower and the rainbow sign do have my heart enthralled, the quiet joys of sisterhood, and love is Lord of all. But humans come and they plow the tide, the oak lies on the ground. I hear their tires in the field, they drive the stallion down. The roses bleed both light and dark, the wind does seldom call, the running sands recall the time when love was Lord of all. It's from Richard Farina to a wonderful old Irish tune called Lagan Love. But sort of one of the songs that I'm likely to sing at the Friday Night Folk Concert, which is coming up a week from tomorrow at All Souls here in New London. And doing that concert with Charlie King and Karen Brandau, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And most of the time I've hosted this sort of dual concert, a guest concert in January at All Souls for a number of years. And usually I do a first set and the other people do the second set, but Charlie and Karen want to be on stage together so we can back each other up, and we've known each other for a while, so that's going to be a fun time. Now, we're still sort of in the Christmas season, I guess, you know. And I didn't get a chance to sing a bunch of stuff this year. I didn't actually do a gig during the Christmas season around here, so I thought maybe I'd do this song from John McCutcheon. My name is Francis Tolliver, I live in Liverpool. 2 years ago, the war was waiting for me after school. To Flanders and to Germany to here. I fought for God and country I hold dear. It was Christmas in the trenches, and the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were still, no Christmas song was sung. The cannons rested silent, and the gas clouds rolled no more, as Christmas brought us respite from the war. I was lying with my messmate on the cold and rocky ground, when across the lines of battle came a most peculiar sound. Says I, now listen up, my boys, each soldier strained to hear, as one young German voice rang out so clear. Someone coming towards us, the front line sentry cried. All sights were trained on one lone figure coming from their side. His truce flag like a Christmas star shone on the plain so bright, and as he bravely strode unarmed into the night. Then one by one from either side we walked into no man's land. Neither gun nor bayonet, we met there hand to hand. We shared some secret brandy and we wished each other well. And in a flare-lit soccer game we gave 'em hell. We traded chocolates, cigarettes, and photographs of home. These sons and fathers far away from families of their own. Young Saunders played the squeeze box and they had a violin. This curious and unlikely band of men. Then daylight stole upon us, and France was France once more. With sad farewells we each began to settle back to war. The thought that haunted every heart that lived that wondrous night, whose family have I fixed within my sights? It was Christmas in the trenches, and the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were warmed as Christmas songs were sung. And the walls they built between us to effect the work of war had been crumbled, and we're gone forevermore. My name is Francis Tolliver, in Liverpool I dwell. Each Christmas comes since World War I, I've learned its lessons well. That the ones who call the shots won't be among the dead and lame, and at each end of the rifle we're the same. We actually came across a piece on NPR recently. It was talking about how people work out their differences and different techniques, and really a study. And it ends up that actually, if you look up tit for tat on NPR, you'll come across this piece, I think. And that song is actually a very lovely version of what happened at the in those occasions in World War I, and it wasn't so beautiful in a lot of cases. In fact, well, in some cases, the truce went on between the trenches for a week until higher ups figured out what was going on, and then they demanded that they start fighting again, shoot at each other, and yeah. So, enough of that stuff. One of the other projects that I'm, aside from this concert that I'm excited about doing a week from Friday, I've worked up a program with Rick Spencer related to the 38th voyage of the Charles W. Morgan. And so it's a concert program with a certain amount of commentary. And there's something of a new mission with the rebuilding of the Morgan. It's going to come here in around the 17th of May. The Morgan will come from Mystic Seaport, and it's going to be here for the better part of a month, getting the finishing, extra ballasting and extra fitting out, and then sea trials from here. And then it's going to go to Newport, Martha's Vineyard, New Bedford, actually Provincetown, to go out to Stellwagen Bank and sail amongst whales, and then to Boston, and then back through the Cape Cod Canal for a stop at the Maritime College there. And so really very exciting stuff. And, of course, a bunch of us have put our hats in the ring to be on board for one part or another of that. So I just submitted my letter, which was due tomorrow. So meanwhile, I just thought I'd do two of the songs that we have in this program, but I'll do them as a medley. And I actually, years ago, recorded this medley for Fast Folk in New York City. Back in the days of vinyl Fast Folk albums and white jackets coming out. It was great. But this is Greenland Whale Fishery, which is one of the best known old traditional whaling songs, followed by Paul Kaplan's Call Me the Whale. In 1841, on June the 13th day, our gallant ship her anchors weighed, for Greenland bore away, brave boys, for Greenland bore away. Our lookout on the cross tree stood, a spyglass in his hand. It's a whale, a whale, a whale fish, he cried, blows at every span, brave boys, blows at every span. And our captain on the quarter-deck, a fine old man was he. Overhaul, overhaul, let your davit tackles fall. Lower your boats to the sea, brave boys, and lower your boats to the sea. We struck that whale, the line paid out. He gave a flunder with his tail, and the boat capsized and 4 men were drowned. We never caught that whale, brave boys, never caught that whale. And the losing of those gallant men grieved our captain full sore, but the losing of that 100-barrel whale grieved him 10 times more, brave boys, it grieved him 10 times more. Greenland is an awful place, a place that's never green, where there's ice and snow, the whale fishes blow. Daylight seldom seen, brave boys, and daylight seldom seen. Call me the whale, for that's what I am, and what I aim to be. You may call yourselves the kings of the land, but I am the king of the sea, brave boys. Yes, I am the king of the sea. And you came after me with your matchstick boats and your harpoons poised for the kill. When I looked you in the eye, I never saw you cry, but I know I gave you you a chill, brave boys. I know I gave you a chill. And I never meant you any harm, brave boys, when I sent you to the bottom with my tale. No, I only meant to tell you you should have been at home instead of on the ocean chasing whales, brave boys, instead of on the ocean chasing whales. But you never got the message, and more you came, till I ran out of places to hide. And when your boats got so big, I could not bring you down. I knew you had turned the tide, brave boys. I knew you had turned the tide. And now you hunt me down with your factory ships, and you never even touch me with your hands. In the morning I'm playing with my babies in the waves. In the afternoon I'm packed into your cans, brave boys. In the afternoon I'm packed into your cans. And you've gotten so efficient with your implements of death that now I'm barely alive. But if you treat each other the way you treated me, I think I'm going to survive, brave boys. I think I'm going to survive. Well, thank you very much. But I think we're going to take a little break here for a commercial, and then we'll come back and have a little chatting and some more music.
Join Steve, Elsie, and friends. Learn and pretend. We exploration through our nation, and the music never ends. With Steve, Elsie, and friends. Exploration. Music.
Discovery.
Fun.
Thank you for joining us on Live Lunch Break. We have with us today Geoff Kaufman. You are either watching at theday.com, we appreciate it, or you are here inside the Telegraph record store on Golden Street in New London. And the good thing about Geoff is even though there's like 4 million really cool albums here, all the shoppers have stopped what they're doing to watch you, and I can't say that I blame them. Tell me a little bit about the variety of music you do, because as I said in the first part of the show, I became associated with you through C Music and shanties.
Well done.
I just have to think about it every time. But you have a wide background in folk and work songs and that spans global indigenous music. So tell me a little bit about how you got such a wide fascination in this stuff.
Well, a lot of that may come from the fact that early on I became associated with the Hudson River Sloop Clearwater and Pete Seeger. And of course, Pete Seeger would inspire one to have a breadth of span to their repertoire. And that's where a lot of my environmental background comes from. And of course, the instinct or the desire to learn some language, some stuff in other languages or whatever. So that's part of it. Then, I got a real job after kicking around doing some odd things like running an arts council up in the Catskill Mountains.
Nothing wrong with that.
I ended up being hired at Mystic Seaport as a shantyman and have been there for 29 and a half
Wow.
years.
It's hard to
So,
believe.
so most, the larger number of people know me through that C
Right.
Music and my involvement doing that and also directing the C Music Festival and stuff.
Right. One thing that last week I emailed Geoff because I was listening to this album by a band from 1999 that I like, a British band, and I was like, and what I thought was an actual contemporary sea shanty was on the album that they had written. So I emailed Geoff and I said, I don't even know, is it legal to write sea shanties anymore? Does this qualify as a sea shanty? And you said yes.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't want to get technical because even the vast majority of an audience don't know what the word shanty means.
I don't. What does it mean?
Well, that means it actually has to do with the work songs that were done on board
Okay.
ships. So shanty from chanter, if you spell it CH, which is my preference. So we're thinking one of the possible derivations might have been down in New Orleans.
Okay.
You have a Creole crew loading a vessel, and they're not doing it fast enough, and so their boss says "chante" and gets them to sing. So they're working in rhythm, getting the job done. So the shanty, that word is applied specifically to rhythmic songs used at work.
Okay.
And then sailors had other songs, which we sometimes call forecastle songs or main hatch songs they sang for entertainment. Most people, when they hear shanty, all of that is in that
Right.
definition. So, contemporary sea music, yeah, there's lots of that out there, and I sing a bunch of that too. One of the things that does fascinate me is that our link to the ocean still inspires people to write incredible songs.
That is, and I also was thinking in the context of work songs. Do people on car lines in Detroit or whatever still crank out songs, or is that sort of a lost art?
Well, I think that's lost. In fact, the work songs on board ships began to disappear with radio and
Right.
with the ability to hear somebody else doing stuff. So it's something that we have to dig out from the archives of times when people didn't have other ways of entertaining themselves.
Right. Now, over the years that I have been here, I have seen you perform, I don't know how many, certainly 24 times. And your repertoire is vast. How many songs do you think you could play?
People ask me that all the time. I like to think I have an active repertoire of several hundred songs, and then I have to go back to the books, and I'll relearn songs that I've done in the past in a few days if I need them for a gig. But there's a lot in there somewhere.
Well, you have several albums. It's geoffkaufman.com, right?
Right.
So, and it's the Geoff, Geoff, not the Jeff.
Right.
This is a rough day for me. Shanty, Geoff,
And spelling
Geoff.
my name, that's always right.
But I want people to get it right because
Yeah.
there are several albums you've recorded,
Oh, yeah.
and they span a lot of these styles.
Right.
Do you compose your own material?
Very little. And I've wondered about that. I have something of a desire to do that.
Right.
But I find so many great songs being written by other people that when I hear one of those that catches my ear, I say, all right, I want to live with that for a little while and then make that my own.
Right.
So that's what I tend to do more than write. Writing doesn't come easily for me
Okay.
as it does for some other
But
songwriters.
So I associate a lot of the material that I have heard from you over the years. Now with you, I wouldn't know where to find the original, so we might as well just say Geoff wrote these, and here's his BMI royalty address. Just kidding. So
I hope you guys are covered in here because I'm about to.
So you have Friday Night Folk a week from tomorrow, as this goes out over the what would that be? That would be the 17th.
Exactly.
Friday Night Folk, and that's here we go again. This church has like 600 names, 600
Well,
words.
All Souls Congregation is what it's called these days.
Didn't it used to be
Well,
Congregationalist?
No. Well,
not.
that's a whole other story. But no, it's All Souls Unitarian Universalist Congregation.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. It's got
All
that
right.
the UU thing. Yeah.
But we know. But I just want them to know where it is. So
Right. Well,
it's
it's just It's just up the hill here.
That's
It's,
just up the hill.
It's well, let me get the right address.
All right.
Oh yes, yeah, I go there a lot, so I should.
That
know
was
this.
sleight of hand.
19 J Street.
19 J Street.
And to get tickets, you can go to FridayNightFolk.org, I guess
Yep.
we are, or call 443-0316.
All right. Now, there's one other thing. Saturday, you're appearing
Yeah.
too, and that is at the German Club in Mystic,
Right.
not at the All Universal Congregational.
Never mind. Okay.
Never mind. Tell us about it.
Okay, the Shanty Blast at this is one of our major fundraisers for the Sea Music Festival that happens in June. But in the middle of winter, we give people a chance to kind of break loose, and so we go to the German Club, which is right across the street from the entrance, the main entrance gate to the seaport. And we sing from 1 to 5 in the afternoon on this Saturday. So people come from New York and Boston. They come from all over. And I've been getting calls from New Jersey and
Fabulous.
Maine and stuff. And so what happens is you get all of these people in this room, and anybody that wants to sing something can sing. And it is really a shanty blast. It is focused on those work songs we were talking about.
Excellent.
Because there's so many great choruses to those songs, but we're gonna, their ballads come in there too, and
there's a great common knowledge of these materials, so there's a lot of sing-along component
right,
to this.
absolutely,
right? Absolutely.
the whole room sings,
That's pretty.
and even if they don't know it, they sing.
If they're going across the street to the pub, that's probably yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, they actually they got some beer available there. Grease the wheels
and after a few, some people like me could be convinced that they can sing on key. That's always a good thing.
Well, with 200 voices, it doesn't
doesn't
matter.
make that much difference. All right.
Well, we have fabulous singers that come from all over, and the volume, that number of voices together, it is amazing. That it really there's a phenomenon called entrainment that happens with people that sing together a lot. Where their brains actually coordinate and they begin their vocal modulations fall into patterns. It also anyway. It's an
cool.
amazing thing. And in a large group of people singing together, the voices just begin to fall into place.
And it also sort of brings to the focus that there's a reason work songs help work.
Exactly.
So that's cool. We are privileged today to have on Live Lunch Break my friend Geoff Kaufman. And would you bless us with a few more tunes?
I will.
All right. Thanks so much.
All
Geoff
right.
Kaufman.
Thank you, Rick. But I'm going to not do those shanties. I'm going to do a couple of other things. So from Leonard Cohen comes this. The birds they sang at the break of day. Start again, I thought I heard them say. Don't dwell on what has gone away or what is yet to be. Ah, the wars, they will be fought again. The holy dove, she will be caught again. Caught and bought and sold and bought again. The dove is never free. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's where the light gets in. We asked for signs and the signs were sent. The birth betrayed and the marriage spent. Ah, the widowhood of every government, signs for all to see. I can't run no more with that lawless crowd, with the killers in the high places say their prayers out loud. They've summoned up a thundercloud, and they're gonna hear from me. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. You can count up the parts, but you won't have the sum. You can strike up the march on your little drum. Every heart to love will come, but like a refugee. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. Thank you. These wonderful people that have gathered here are mouthing along, but they're not making much noise because they're not kind of in the scene. But it's allowed, isn't it allowed? Okay. I thought I'd do something a little different here. Speaking of those work songs that we were talking about, those shanties, this song has been dug out fairly recently by Bob Walzer, who used to run the music program at Mystic Seaport. And he is working on a collection of songs, particularly the C music part of the collection, done by an American collector, James Madison Carpenter, who went to England in the 1920s. And he recorded stuff all over England, but in particular, of interest to us, in Wales, he found a couple of old sailors. And they remembered a bunch of songs that they had been singing 50 years earlier. So, recorded in 1925 from the 1870s. Here's a song being sung that this guy remembered. Rees Baldwin was his name. And he remembered this being sung in Savannah, Georgia. And I've always wondered if there might not be a connection between this song and You're Nothing But a Hound Dog. Because this song says you're nothing but a humbug. But your answer to that is so they say, and then I'm going to say you're nothing but a humbug again, and your answer is that's all I know. You're nothing but a humbug, so they say, you're nothing but a humbug, and that's all I know. There's a catfish growing on a huckleberry vine, so they say, catfish growing on a huckleberry vine, that's all I know. Said you're nothing but a humbug, so they say, you're nothing but a humbug, and that's all I know. I never seen the like since I've been born, so they say, sailor on a five-field dragging out corn, that's all I know. I said you're nothing but a humbug, so they say, you're nothing but a humbug, and that's all I know. Dandy Jim from North Carolina, so they say, so they say. He come home for to marry Dinah, that's all I know. He you're nothing but a humbug, so they say, so they say. You're nothing but a humbug, and that's all I know. The blackbird said unto the crow, so they say, so they say. Why do you bother that farmer so? That's all I know. It's been that way since Adam was born, so they say, so they say. Digging and scratching up farmer's corn, that's all I know. I said you're nothing but a humbug, so they say, so they say. You're nothing but a humbug, and that's all I know. Well, that blackbird said unto that crow, so they say, so they say. Don't tell the pretty girls all I know, that's all I know. It's a oyster high and a oyster dry, so they say, so they say. Oyster high for a bullshine pie, that's all I know. I said you're nothing but a humbug, so they say, so they say. You're nothing but a humbug, and that's one more time now. You're nothing but a humbug, so they say, so they say. You're nothing but a humbug, and that's all I know. So I sing that partly because we're still digging out some of that material. And thankfully, Bob Walzer is spending, that is his job, is to go through that collection at this point and find out what else good stuff is in there. All right, let me do one more. And this concert at All Souls, Unitarian Universalist Congregation, 19 J Street, a week from tomorrow, is focused really on Martin Luther King. So it's a celebration of him. And so one of the songs I've talked to Charlie and Karen about doing is this one from Eileen Vance. And she, 11 years ago or so, was singing for a Martin Luther King Day march out in California. And she was watching all these people go by, and the day before, she'd read some book about Martin's big words. And this song fell out of that confluence of thought and watching people marching on that day. So I just want to thank you, Rick, for inviting me to be here, because this is a lot of fun. And Rich and Daphne for running this great store and hosting this as well. There is no freedom, the wise man said. Let justice roll down or roll down. When the poor cry out for food and bread, let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, remember the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Now hatred will never drive out hate. Let love roll down, roll down. Remember our hearts can make us great. Let love roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let love roll down like a mighty stream. When brutality threatens our daughters and sons, let peace roll down, roll down. Let our voices rise up above the guns. Let peace roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let peace roll down like a mighty stream. When the fists rise up to strike a blow, let songs roll down, roll down. May the poets remind us of all we know, that songs are rolled down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get a weary walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. That songs are rolled down like a mighty stream. Step by step and one by one, let justice roll down, roll down. You can kill the prophet, but the dream lives on. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get a weary walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Let justice roll down, roll down. Let love roll down, roll down. Let peace roll down, roll down. Let songs roll down, roll down. Let justice roll down, roll down. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This is Geoff Kaufman. My name is Rick Coster for Live Lunch Break. You can see Geoff on the 17th at Friday Night Folk, and also this Saturday at the German Club in Mystic. Next week from Willimantic, we will have Curtis Brand, and thanks again to Rich and Daphne for hosting us. Thanks for tuning in to theday.com, and we will see you next time.